to your private restorative and deep stretch practice. Just a few things that you'll want for this practice is a strap. If you do not have a strap or a yoga strap, you can improvise and use a towel. If you have a few blocks, they would be great to have, but we can improvise if you do not have these. Another thing that's nice to have is a blanket. I would recommend not a super fluffy blanket, but one that feels really nice and sturdy and dense when folded up. A yoga bolster is always nice to have as well. If you do not have a proper yoga bolster, then grab a pillow. A pillow that's preferably more firm than soft. So we're going to start by placing your pillow or your bolster up and down on the mat. So this is going to support the whole spine. And then we'll grab your blanket and fold it up nicely. And you'll place the blanket on top of the bolster. So we'll start by lying down on the bolster. So I like to kind of scoot it up so it touches my tailbone. And then I just kind of peel my spine down as I come to lie. Head eventually is going to meet your blanket. So just finding yourself comfortable. You might want to make sure that your hips are on the ground or that your tailbone's on the ground. And that the bolster is actually going to start somewhere in the lower to lower mid back area. If this strains your back in any way, you can always bring the soles of the feet to the mat and allow the knees to prop up against one another. If that still is uncomfortable, you can always slide either a blanket or a block underneath the hips to make sure that you're comfortable. You don't want the body to strain in any way. So another way you can be is you can extend the legs forward and just allow the toes to splay open. Or perhaps the soles of the feet want to come together and the knees butterfly open. Pressing or walking the heels of your feet forward just a bit can create a little bit more space in your hip and in your knees. So finding the degree of which you want your heels to be, so closer into the body or farther away. And so through the postures while we are lying down, I just want to set the expectation that for the purposes of instruction, I might sit up to a seated posture, but don't necessarily follow me doing that until I tell you to move postures. So you're going to stay lying down, feeling the whole back of the head really supported and rooted by the blanket underneath. Making sure the whole spine feels supported by your pillow or your bolster. Bringing your awareness down into the glutes and the hips and allowing them to sink into the ground. Feeling the inner thighs as soft. All the way down to the knees, ankles, and bottoms of your feet. And if you can, just tuning your awareness into the gravity behind the back side of the body. And allowing yourself to surrender into that gravity. almost feeling a gravitational pull, just gently drawing your weight, your muscles, your bones, your tendons in towards itself. And your only job is to relax and surrender into that pull at the end of every exhale. Now feeling the backside of the body connected, yet not too heavy or weighted down to the earth, just feeling that connection. As you bring your awareness into the bottoms of the feet, feeling the bottoms of the feet softening, and toes softening. Noticing the connection of the bottoms of the feet either to the ground or to one another. Finding your knees, finding the tops of your thighs all the way into the front of the pelvis. Hanging out here for just a few breaths with your awareness in the pelvis and in the base of the spine. Just allowing the breath to be here. Allowing the breath to create space as you inhale. And then freeing up any resistance as you release on exhale. Feeling the breath, loosening the inner thighs, loosening any tightness in the hips, glutes, or base of the spine. Just allowing for the breath to provide a sense of spaciousness through your pelvis. And then making your way up the front of the body, into the belly button, into the upper belly and the space between the rib cage. And can you bring your awareness into the backside of the mid-spine as well? So reaffirming that sense of foundation, that sense of gravity that holds your spine, and simultaneously bring your awareness to the space around the belly, around the rib cage. And allow your breath to expand into the space above the belly, to the either side of the rib cage, and even underneath the back into the earth. Finding the front of the heart space. Feeling the space under your collarbones, the armpits, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, down to the elbows, wrists, and fingers. Front of the palms, front of the elbow, biceps. We feel our breath rise all the way up from the earth, from the base of the spine, creating space as it blossoms open into the heart. As the collarbones lift on in-breath. And then exhale, allow the heart to relax down as the breath simply drains down and out of the spine and into the earth. One more inhale from the earth through the base of the spine and belly into the heart, feeling a sense of expansion and spaciousness in the heart. And then exhale as you relax the heart down. Breath naturally carries itself out of the body, down the spine, and into the ground. Bringing your awareness into the throat, feeling the back of the neck as long. Allowing the throat to soften and the teeth to part. The inner ears to soften. The space behind your nose. under the eyes, into the eyelids, even feeling the eyeballs sinking deeper into their sockets. Feeling the space between the eyebrows, above the eyebrows, your temples melting down towards the earth. And even bringing your awareness into the scalp, into all of your hair follicles and all the hair that extends from the scalp. So I'll take a big deep in breath through the nose from the bottom up. So from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head, big in breath. Counting up to 4 or 5. Pausing at the peak of the inhale just for a moment. Exhale out of the mouth from the crown of the head down into the base of the spine. In breath through the nose up to 4, 5, or 6, finding your comfort level. Pausing at the peak of that inhale for 2 seconds. Exhaling as you release out of the mouth, scanning from the top of the head down the body, through and out of the base of the spine and into the ground. We'll slowly start to awaken the body. If it feels good to you, you can just simply reach or stretch your arms above head. I like to interlace the fingers or hold either hand and just kind of shrug the shoulders up towards the sky, squinch the neck, squinch the face. Feel the rib cage expanding, lift the heart, and then when you're ready to release, go ahead and exhale. Releasing palms, releasing breath. Let's do that one more time, just with the palms of the hands. So in breath, we're going to stretch arms above head, big in breath. Squinch everything up, even lift the heart off of the bolster as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhale, release it all. So from here, we're going to simply make our way off the bolster. So you can just simply roll to one side. And you really want to take your time here. So we're not rushing from one pose to the next. We want to keep a nice steady pace. So you'll go ahead and just simply set your bolster aside. And I'll always recommend keeping a blanket underneath your head for the whole practice as we're on the ground. It's going to help keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. So we're going to go ahead and grab for our strap or a large towel if you don't have a strap. Go ahead and lie down. Make sure the strap is within reach, and then just simply hug the knees in towards the chest. Iron out the lower back as you maybe gently rock from side to side. For now, keeping the knees together. We'll pause at center, take a big deep in breath through the nose. As we exhale, we're going to curl the forehead in towards the knees. Another deep in breath, release the head back down. Exhale out of the mouth as you curl the forehead towards the knees. So you're lifting up. You maybe even grab the bottoms of the feet with the palms and bend the elbows to curl yourself in. Last one, in breath, head lays down. Exhale out of the mouth, curl it in. All right, go ahead and lie the head down. Go ahead and bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. We'll reach for our strap and wrap the strap around the ball of your right foot. Now, the ball of the foot is the space underneath the toes. And you want to make sure that your strap is comfortable. So find if you want to kind of wind your hands a little farther up the strap, or if they want to be wound a little bit farther down. The key is to try to keep the shoulders soft and the neck elongated. The left leg can either be extended or the sole of the foot can come onto the mat if you like a little bit more lower back support. Just take a moment to wiggle the toes, point and flex through the foot, and maybe you even roll the ankle. Just finding some gentle movement here. We're just warming up our ligaments, we're warming up our tendons. And when you're done finding movement, we'll find a place of stillness throughout that right leg. Now, things to check for is you want to make sure that the right knee is never locked out. So there's either a micro bend or even maybe a bigger bend if you're feeling a little tighter today. We'll take a big deep in breath through the nose. As you exhale, simply draw the leg in a little closer. So you're just using the strength of your arms, but not the strain of the shoulders. We'll do this as many times as we need until we've met our edge. So a deep in breath. Exhale, maybe it draws in a tiny bit more. And so the key is to not try to shock your body going from 0 to 10 in 1 minute. It's a process. So it's a process of unfolding, it's a process of opening. And we want to stay and remain connected to what the body is speaking the entire time. What is the language of your body? Learning the language of our body. So just closing the eyes down for a moment. See if you can bring your awareness into where this stretch starts in the spine. Do you feel it in the lower back? Do you feel it in the mid back? Where is it the most pronounced? So for me, I feel it's mostly pronounced in the hamstring, but for everybody it might feel a little different. And then noticing any resistance that pops up. Sometimes that right hip will want to lift up to the right. If that's the case, gently coax that right hip back down to face the front of the mat. A lot of the time the toes will crinkle up or become stressed, making sure the toes are relaxed. And see about rocking the leg just a little bit, like 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right, just real subtle. And as you're finding that fluid rocking, use that as an opportunity to draw the leg just a little closer in. You'll find that the movement helps the body to be less resistant. So let's all take a big in-breath through the nose. Fill your belly and heart up. This time as you exhale, you're going to purse your lips just like you're blowing through a straw as you exhale. So deep in breath. As you exhale, just making that windy sound with your lips. Let's do one more of those. Deep in breath through the nose, filling the belly up to the heart. And exhale. Good. Let's go ahead and reach the foot just a few inches now to the left. It's not a big movement, but it will feel pretty big. So see about, if the left leg is not already extended, you might want to go ahead and extend that left leg forward. Some teachers would tell you to keep that left leg active. For this purpose of today, I want to tell you to keep that left leg relaxed. Allow it to open out naturally, allow the toes to soften. The right leg is going to be active. So can we teach our bodies to be active in some areas and non-active and receptive in others? So as we activate through the right leg, we're going to flex the toes towards the shin. Press through that right heel. It's going to get a little intense. breathe into that outer right hip. Making sure that you're pressing the right hip down onto the mat and pressing it forward. So we're not coming into a twist just yet. A lot of people think that we're twisting, but we're not just yet. Okay, so from here, we're going to simply bring both ends of the strap over to the left palm to free up the right hand. Reaching the right arm all the way out to the right, making sure that the right shoulder, elbow, and wrist is in line with one another. We'll take a big deep in breath through the belly. Exhale, we'll find our twist. So bring that foot all the way over to the left. If you have to kind of scoot over to the right to make the twist, you can make that happen. Now, if you're feeling really flexible and you want to reach for that outer right foot with the hand and let go of the strap, you're welcome to do so. But if it's too much of a stretch, then just keep a hold of the strap. We're not letting go of the strap just yet, as this is still an active stretch. So continue flexing through that right foot as you press the right hip forward. Gaze is over the right shoulder, making sure that that right shoulder is in contact with something, whether that be the ground, perhaps a blanket, perhaps even some blocks. So if your shoulder is tight, you'll want to make sure that something is underneath it so it's not just suspended in the air. Feeling your breath expanding and caressing the belly all the way into that right rib cage, creating space between the ribs. Feeling it travel all the way into that right side heart space and shoulder. Exhale as you feel it travel all the way out of the body. Inhale, fill your body up from the waist, through the belly, through the heart. Exhale, feel your breath kind of travel from the heart all the way down the arm, out of the palms and into the earth. With a soft knee, we'll bring that leg back through to center. Now bring the sole of the left foot back onto the mat. We're going to open that left knee all the way out to the left. Now if you want, you can tuck that foot in towards your right glute. The closer it is in towards you, the more intense it's going to be. So if it's too intense, just simply walk the foot forward. From here, we're going to open that right leg. Let's open it out as far as the leg will go without moving your body weight too far to the right. So you want to keep your hips still aligned. Both hips are somewhat even. You may be rocking a little bit to the right, but try to limit that as much as possible. The goal is not to get the right leg to reach the ground. Actually, the goal is to reach the toes towards that back right-hand corner of your room. If this feels intense for you, close your eyes. Bring your awareness into the intensity, into the hips, into where you feel the tightness and resistance, and just breathe with it. Unclench your thighs, unclench the inner thighs, unclench the pelvis, unclench the pelvic floor, unclench the feet, your jawline, your face. Ready, we'll slowly bring that leg with a soft knee back to center. Go ahead and extend both legs forward. Just release the strap. As you extend your legs forward, just making sure that we're making some shifts in the body. So noticing the differences between your left and the right side. You may notice some spaciousness or length, maybe even you notice more of a life force vibration, or you feel your energy more alive through the right side that we've worked on. Let's give ourselves a nice big stretch before we move to the other side. So just reaching your arms above head, point your toes forward, maybe even lift your chin, shrug the shoulders up, big in breath. And exhale, release it all the way down. And when you're ready, we'll simply move to the other side. So we'll find the strap or your towel and wrap the strap around the ball of the left foot. Right leg can be extended, or the sole of the foot is on the mat. So just taking a moment to settle in. We don't have to go anywhere just yet. We don't even have to deepen the stretch just yet. Just allow yourself to be here and to settle into whatever is happening in your body right now. And then maybe you start to roll the ankle, maybe you point and flex through your foot. Noticing the reactions that your body might have to the point and the flex. So as you flex, you'll feel the calf all the way down to the back of the thigh, and as you point, you'll feel a deep stretch in the shin and ankle. Noticing the rhythm of your breath. And allowing the breath to be the force that soothes the body, that can soothe the challenge and soothe the restriction. As you exhale, the leg might be drawn a little closer in, centimeter or an inch at a time. And the key is to be patient with yourself. Most of the time when we're maybe stretching on our own, it's hard to really be here for a long time, but it's within the length of time that we give our deep stretches that it can pay off the most, that it can have the opportunity to create the most space. So remembering that time can be a beautiful tool for deepening. Filling your belly up into the heart as you inhale, heart down to belly and pelvis as you exhale. And then can you experiment with finding your breath in your pelvis, or finding your energy in your pelvis and noticing? Can you unclench the pelvic floor? Unclench your glutes. And now we'll reach the leg just a few inches to the right. Hip stays on the mat. We're actually actively pressing the left hip down and forward as we actively press or reach the toes towards the right shoulder. A lot of times the face will get resistant here, so watch your jawline, watch your forehead. Sometimes even the hands can become stuck, or the bottom of the right foot. So just becoming aware of the little subtle ways that resistance can manifest itself in the body. If it becomes too intense, you can always gently rock the leg or bend and straighten through the knee just a little bit, just to kind of bring some blood flow and movement into the leg. You may notice one side is a little bit more resistant or tighter than the other. So just work with yourself, or work with the two sides of your body almost as if they were individuals, because the two sides of our body is going to have different needs. Most likely. So we'll take another deep in breath. And as we exhale, we'll carry the foot all the way over to the right, grabbing both ends of the strap with the right palm. freeing up the left palm as you extend the left arm all the way out to the left. Gaze follows the left shoulder, making sure that the shoulder, elbow, and wrist are in line. And again, you can reach for the outside of that right foot if you'd rather not hold onto the strap. So press that right hip forward as you create space in that left side, or excuse me, your left hip forward as you create space through the hip. Breathe in through the belly, through the rib cage, into the heart as you inhale. Exhale, feel the breath trickle out of the shoulder, down the arm, out of the palm, and into the ground as you exhale. So using your imagination to inhale from the hip all the way through the belly into the heart. Exhale as you release shoulder down, elbow, wrist, palm, and earth. One more breath like that. Deep in breath. Exhale from the shoulder down and out. Noticing the bottom of your left hand, noticing the bottom of your right foot. Nothing to do but notice and unclench. And we'll slowly bend through that right knee as we bring the leg back through to center. We'll go ahead and bring the sole of the right foot onto the mat, allowing the right knee to open all the way out to the right, maybe even tucking your foot underneath that left glute. We'll open that left leg as far as it'll go without dumping your weight all the way over to the left. And it's really common for this left inner thigh to become really active and gripped up. So try to see if you can allow that inner thigh to soften as you maybe soften that left knee a little more. So softening of the joints can definitely help all the muscles and tendons to soften as well. Being with your challenge, softening the shoulders over and over again, softening the face, softening your awareness into the body, into the breath, into the present moment. Good. As you inhale with a softening, we'll come back to center and release the strap. We'll set the strap aside. We are gonna use it later. Go ahead and extend both legs all the way out just for a mini shavasana. So separate the legs about mat's distance apart, allowing the toes to splay open and the arms to separate. Now we've done a lot of lower body opening. So I want you to really, if you want, you can even bring your palms into the hips and into the pelvis area. And see if you can allow the palms to soften on this area as they land. If you can imagine that there is a spigot at the base of your spine and you've decided to open that spigot. Maybe imagining that you are full from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. You can imagine you're like a 5-gallon water jug and you're full of water. So noticing the heaviness of water, noticing the splash, the sound of water. And since your spigot is open, what's happening here? Do we Maybe start to notice the water draining from the crown of the head to the neck. Just releasing into the earth a little bit at a time as you just drain yourself. Remembering that your job is just to allow yourself to be drained. Feeling it descend down, maybe into the belly, and then eventually into the hips and pelvis. Until it's all the way empty. And then what happens to that 5-gallon water jug as you've emptied the water? There's spaciousness, there's air. So allowing your breath to inhabit that spaciousness that was once water. Let's stretch into that spaciousness. So go ahead and reach your arms overhead, point the toes, lift the chin, deepen breath. As we exhale, we're going to release and slowly start to find your way up to seated. So you can either roll to one side or rock your way up. We're going to grab your blanket and place it underneath your hips to give you a gentle lift. If you have your pillow or bolster within reach, make sure that is close by. Your strap is close by. And if you have blocks, those are close by. We're going to go ahead and open our legs out to a V shape. And you want to scoot your hips forward enough so that your pelvis is able to gently just kind of tilt forward. So you're not slumping back into the lower back, rather you're tilting the hips forward so that the belly and the heart can lift. So a common thing here that can happen is when we start to reach forward, we can oftentimes cut ourselves off at the belly, or we cut ourselves off at the throat center, or even the shoulders as we're rounding with the heart, or maybe we're reaching with the chin. So for the first few rounds of breath, I want to encourage us to keep all of this open. So the heart is open, the shoulder blades are soft and drawn together, the back of the neck is neutral, we're not reaching with our chin, and the belly is lifted. So that might mean that we remain as we are. We might not go any farther. But if you want to kind of test your boundaries here, just slowly start to hinge forward with a flat back. So keeping the belly lifted, the heart lifted, the neck long. If you can imagine your breath descending down and out into the earth, like you're blowing up an inverted balloon as you inhale. And then exhale as you hinge forward a little more. Unclench the inner thighs. Now some options here. You can always grab your blocks, place them underneath your elbows, and allow your head to relax. I recommend walking your elbows just a little forward of the shoulders so that the heart can remain open. If you have a bolster, you can always place the bolster between the legs, maybe the blocks on top of the bolster, and see how you can allow yourself to be supported that way. So bringing a block underneath the forehead, another one underneath the belly. So everybody is going to need different structures of support. So find which one works best for you. Finding your even rhythmed breath. Perhaps you even start to play with extending the exhales. just a little longer. Remembering that patience is the name of the game. If you find that things are becoming too stiff in the body, replacing that stiffness with movement can be helpful. So maybe you'd like to rock the upper body gently from side to side as you explore lowering the heart a little farther down. A few more rounds of breath, deep in breath as you lift up out of the belly, draw the shoulder blades together. Let's all exhale out of the mouth. One more inhale, lift up out of the belly, create space in the spine. Exhale out of the mouth as you hinge forward a little more. Slowly coming back upright. Good, so from here, we're going to simply close the legs. So picking up the knees. We're going to move straight into a full fire log pose or pigeon here. So we're going to line that front shin up with the front line of your mat, and I'm a little crooked, so it might look a little different for you. And then we're going to place the right shin on top. So your shins are like this, they're parallel. We might need some support, so you can grab any kind of prop that you have that's going to give you a lift, whether that be a block or a pillow. You can put it underneath one or both of your knees, if that helps you to find more support. Now you want to make sure that both ankles and knees are in line with one another. Now for this purpose, we're going to try to even the sit bones out. They might not be perfectly even, but we try. Take a deep in-breath, pull up through the crown of the head, create space in the belly. Exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Just a little bit. One more breath like this, in breath into the pelvic floor, into the earth, finding that inverted breath into the ground. Exhale, hinge forward a little more. Good. Slowly come back all the way upright as you inhale. Keep the legs as they are. We're going to reach for the strap or your towel. Let's wrap the strap around the palms of the hands, wider than shoulders distance apart. You might find that you need a little wider if your shoulders are a little tighter, so just making sure that you let your body tell you. And you want the strap to be taut, so we're using the muscles in the arms to squeeze the shoulder blades together and pull the strap apart. We're going to take a deep in-breath as we reach and gaze up, so lifting up through the heart and belly, making sure that the tops of the shoulders stay soft. As we exhale, we're going to hinge the hips forward as we squeeze the elbows in. So it might just be a 2-inch squeezing. It doesn't have to be anything super exaggerated. Inhale, reach the palms back up towards the sky. You're going to stay leaning forward. Exhale, squeeze it in and hinge forward a little more if your body allows. Good. Inhale, straighten the elbows. Make sure the neck and shoulders are neutral. Exhale, hinge forward a little more as you bend the elbows. Good. Pause here for just a few rounds of breath. So we're active through the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Relax your inner thighs. Slowly reach back up towards the sky. Bring your body upright. As we exhale, we're going to round it out. So reach palms forward, tuck the chin to chest, curl the hips forward. And you're still pulling the strap apart. Inhale, slowly come back right to center. Set the strap aside and switch legs. So I have one shin, or my right shin, is down on the bottom, parallel to the front line of the mat, left shin on top. Remember, you can use your blocks or your blanket underneath one or both knees to provide extra support. Let's find a deep breath as you count up to 5, 6, or maybe even 7 as you expand your breath at the peak of the inhale. Keep your mouth closed this time as you exhale, hinge forward. Breath releases out of the nose as the belly draws in. So let's do another one of those. Big in breath up to 5 or 7. Exhale out of the nose, squeeze the belly in. One more. Big in breath up to 5 to 7. Exhale out of the nose, belly draws in, hips hinge forward. Slowly come back upright. We'll find our strap. Wrapping the strap around the palms of the hands, wider than shoulders distance apart. Deep in breath. Reach up, gaze up. So you want to feel the belly strong, the belly button's tucked in, and we're lifting up along the mid-spine and arching through the upper spine. Exhale, squeeze the elbows in. So just bend the elbows just a little. Make sure the neck isn't strained. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows as you hinge forward. And your hinging may not be much. Maybe you're at your max, and that's fine. But if your body is able to hinge forward, then test it. In breath, reach up. Exhale, gently hinge forward, elbows in. Pause here, turn the gaze down to the ground, but your neck is still neutral. Elbows are squeezing in, tops of the shoulders are relaxed. See if you can breathe into the rib cage. Feel the breath expanding the ribs, expanding into the heart. Another deep in breath, reach palms back all the way up towards the sky, come back to center. Exhale, round it out. Chin tucks to chest, round the shoulders, curl the hips forward. We'll release the strap for good. Uncross the legs. If it feels good, you can wiggle them out by bringing the soles of the feet together and let the knees butterfly. Maybe you want to wiggle the toes. But let's go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. We'll reach arms all the way out to a T. You want to keep the tops of the shoulders really soft. So just a little bit of heart, rib cage opening. So slowly start to just rotate the palms in one direction and then another, so that the whole arm is rotating as the tops of the shoulders stay soft. So you're probably going to feel your tendons, all your fascia maybe starting to open up and stretch. Continue with your breath. Find your own rhythm. So maybe you might not be moving as fast as I am. Continue for about 5 to 6 more rounds in either direction. And release the arms down. From here, we're going to extend the left arm all the way out to the left. Now turn the palm of your hand towards the wall behind you. The thumb faces the ground. Go ahead and reach your right ear over to the right shoulder, making sure that right shoulder is relaxed down away from the ear. good to you, you can kind of wind the head up and then turn it down towards that right shoulder, just finding some movement in the neck. But either way, making sure that you're stretching from the inside out of that left arm. We'll go ahead and release the left arm down and extend the right arm out. So remember, the center of your palm reaches the wall behind you, thumb touches the ground, or faces the ground. And relax that left ear by the left shoulder. So you're reaching, almost as if someone were pulling your right hand all the way out to the right. You can wind your chin towards that left shoulder and then wind it back up, but only if it feels good. If it causes too much strain in the neck and shoulders, then allow your body's intelligence to move you. Relax the jawline, allow the teeth to part from one another as you exhale. And we'll come back to center. Okay. The next practice, or the next exercise, we're going to start by bringing our fingertips to the shoulders. And it's not an intense, you don't want it to be super charged or super intense, but we're just really trying to loosen up the shelf of your torso and the sides of the body. So you want to feel a gentle twisting, or maybe like a washing sensation along the rib cage underneath the chest, and maybe you might even feel it in the chest as well. So just allow the body to start moving, and the breath will catch up. Usually I would say allow the breath to inform your movement, but in this case, start just twisting your body from side to side in a rhythm. So your breath, I find for myself when I do this practice that it's different every day, or it wants to do something different every day. So you might count up to 4 on your inhale as you're moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you want to go up to 5 or 6. More rounds of breath, up to 4, maybe 5 or 6, making sure the exhale is the same length. And from here, we're going to slowly start rotating the arms. So the body remains still, shoulders rotate. Relax the arms, relax the wrists. Roll the neck gently from side to side if that feels good to you. Big in breath and exhale out of the mouth. Time to come back down to our mats. So if you have your blanket, go ahead and place it behind where the head will be. Have a block or a pillow, we're going to use that for our supported bridge pose. We're going to go ahead and lay down onto the mat, placing the feet hips distance apart. It's about the length of a dollar bill. Making sure that the ankles are underneath the knees. We'll go ahead and lift the hips up towards the sky. And you can just slide your bolster underneath the hips. So you don't want the bolster to be on the lower back, and you don't want it to be too far down. You want it to feel comfortable and supportive right along the tailbone. You have the choice of putting the block on the lower setting, or if you want a little more, you can turn it up a notch, lift the hips a little higher and let it rest. Now we want to start to tuck the shoulders in towards one another. So the shoulder blades are going to hug in towards the spine, turning the palms to face the sky. Finding that the back of the neck is long and supported, but the front of the throat feels open as well. So finding the center of your throat gently constricted, so it's not aggressively constricted, but just a little constriction in the trachea, so that we find a subtle ujjayi breath. So it's going to sound like the sound of an ocean kind of coming in and out as you breathe. Allowing the breath to vibrate in the back of the throat with each in and out breath. Simultaneously bringing your awareness into the heart, feeling the breath fill up the entire heart space as wide and as big as it'll go, lifting the collarbones, expanding the rib cage. Here we'll gently lift the hips off of the block, setting the block aside, lowering the hips down just a little, one vertebrae at a time. Before you hug the knees in, just try to neutralize the spine first. So we're just going to gently rock both knees over to the left and then over to the right, feeling a nice release in the lower back. Eventually hugging both knees in, we'll come to a happy baby. So reaching for the outside of the feet. If the feet is too far to reach, you can reach for the ankles or even underneath the backs of the knees. Separating the feet, separating the heels. Allowing the tops of the thighs to sink down into the ground. As the tailbone presses down, so it's common for your tailbone or for your hips to want to lift up off the ground, try to press it down. If it feels right for you to go ahead and extend one leg and then the other, or maybe both at the same time. Maybe you want to rotate the ankles. This is your time just to kind of stretch into freedom. And as you exhale, we will release into our final resting pose, so our Shavasana. If you'd like, you can place your bolster or your pillow underneath the knees, making yourself as comfortable as possible, opening the arms from the body, separating the feet from one another. Allowing yourself to be held by the ground. Assurance that it's safe to surrender, it's safe to let go. You can even allow yourself to let go of your need to control your breathing. So just allowing your breath to move as naturally as your heart beats, without any effort or conscious effort on your part. unwind. Allowing layers to be shed. Maybe even imagining that you have 6 or 7 layers of skin that's just extra, that's no longer needed. And just one at a time, those layers of skin just peel back and dissolve into the ground. As each one dissolves, you feeling lighter, more bright, more yourself. Peeling them back one by one. And rather maybe than peeling them back, we're just allowing them to shed. We're just softening, and as we soften, the layers naturally start to shed. Continuing until you've peeled back every single layer that was extra. Until you're connecting into you. Feeling the breath deepening, the heart beating, feeling the life that pulsates through your veins, through the cells of your body. Feeling this life force pulsating beyond the physical body, feeling it pulsate above you, beneath you, around you. And as you're ready, you'll bring gentle movement back into the body. Perhaps you'd like to stretch or roll to one side. Eventually making your way up into a comfortable seated position. And as we come to seated, we feel the sit bones rooted to the earth, the shoulders soft, and the crown of the head gently pulled up towards the sky. Centering our awareness in the heart space. As we close, we'll bring both palms to heart, acknowledging the space that connects us. Namaste.